What did you about to say, D-Love?
I was reading Sherry Hatcher. You know Hatcher Brittany, she got all the tea for you, baby.
Yeah, what's up, Sherry? During early voting, we reminded people to come back out for the April 1st election. Shout out to you, Sherry. Now, Sherry, you're welcome to come up in here because I've been told I need to connect with you anyway. So, Sherry, I'm going to drop the link if you would like to. If you have your bonnet off and you want to hang out with us, you can. Come on in the room. Now, Sherry's the only person that's not Chicago Red's cousin. So please come on up in the chat. I dropped the link in the chat.
I don't know. We kind of look alike.
Girl, you're out of control. I dropped the link if you have time. Sherry brings. I know
Sherry
people have told me to connect
my
with me.
nickname. That's what my mother calls me, Sherry.
Well, there we go. So now she's your twin. There we go. It's a real thing.
My twin.
Y'all wild. But okay, yeah. So I just hope that people do. So shout out to Sherry Hatcher Britton. I do hope that people do remember, like, okay, sure, we voted for the primary, but the general election's April 1st, and I need to get myself back out here. Because I mean, I see it sometimes. There's been special elections here in my neighborhood, and I have to admit, I did not. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to turn your camera on if you would like to. We will allow you to violate one of my rules, which is you got to have your camera on. So if you would want to, you don't have. You're welcome to. But yeah,
come on,
so that's
Sherry.
But no, that's cool that Sherry's in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you to 372 of y'all. It was almost at 4 and some change earlier. Thank y'all. So please make sure you hit that like button. Jump on into the best live chat on the internet. We appreciate y'all.
In the words of Cooking with Frank, hit that like, hit that subscribe.
Hey, don't be coming up in here quoting Frank up in here. Come on now. Now Frank need to come on. Frank need to roll on through.
So I can hear him say, hit that subscribe.
I love him. I love it.
Yeah, he's funny.
All right. So what are your predictions now? Again, early voting starts on Monday. What's your prediction between now and Monday? We get a blitz from Cassie. What are we thinking? We'll start with Dalton, and then we're going to talk about Thornton. What do you think?
She might just pull a Tiffany and just
phone it in. You think she's gonna phone? You think she'll come out with a rap? You think she'll come out with a rap song?
You know, I mean, she's a chef. She's a pastor. What else does she do? She juggles bowling balls on Sunday.
There you go.
Don't forget, she flip houses with a tool belt.
She do something for sure.
Flips houses on BET.
Wow, flipping with Cassie. Okay, let me ask y'all this because y'all live in the township. Do y'all see Napoleon actually campaigning at all?
Not one.
No.
Look at their faces.
I didn't even tell you what he looked like.
To be honest,
I probably stood next to him in Jewel.
Girl can't stand you. You said in Jewel.
You think he'll go to Jewel's? He don't even seem like that type of person.
No, he's probably not. He's probably
he's not going to a whole.
No, he's a
Mariano's.
Mariano's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And maybe Trader Joe's.
Yeah, wow.
That too. His wife probably goes. I don't think he goes to the people, the common folks.
Now, if you stood next to somebody with eyelashes like this, though, what would you do?
Why are you like this?
What would you do? What would you do? This person comes up to you with these eyelashes. What would you do?
Stop watching my eyes.
Why is this a thing?
That is creeping me out. I don't know why.
Oh, it should, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
What? Wait, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What's going on, Sherry? How are you?
Hey there.
How are you doing today?
I am great. You guys have me cracking up.
Look,
I look at you guys and I crack up. I love it.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. This is the adult supervision hour. This is where we're just talking, and we clearly needed an adult in the room. So thank you so much, Sherry, for being here to keep us straight.
I try. Sometimes I'm not an adult either.
Well, as long as one of us is at the current moment, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Asylum.
All right. So Sherry Britton, if you don't mind, just in case, we have a lot of undocumented Dalton and Thornton Township residents in the chat. Can you please just tell us a little bit about who you are and why it is that you jumped on tonight? Why did I want you to come on tonight?
Well, you know what? I am a 26-year resident of Dalton.
Okay.
And I guess, I didn't start off trying to be an advocate or any of that. We just saw from the day one that Tiffany was a nut job and we just needed to get her reeled back in. We tried that. And when it didn't work, we tried the recall. And she is a recalled mayor. Let me just make that point very clear.
Mm-hmm.
She is a recalled mayor, but Miss Joy Cunningham, the judge, decided that, it wasn't fair or legal, which, we did what we had to do. It was a time crunch, and we put both questions on the referendum because it was either do that or do nothing. So we knew it was a risk, but we just wanted to try something.
Got it.
But basically, it's just I supported Tiffany in the beginning. I did. I mean, as the lesser of two evils, clearly we know, and I know that was a mistake.
So, can I ask you a question about that? Because a lot of people are making hay that you all started out as Tiffany supporters. You know, Jason and Kiana and Ed Steve, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Is there? I feel like it's perfectly fine for you to grow and mature. For you to say, you know what, I think this is, Brussels sprouts are terrible. Now I can't get enough of Brussels sprouts. It's okay to make changes in your life. Right. Can you speak to how you decided, or how you transitioned from Team Tiffany to Team, we got to fix this. This is broken.
Sure. So initially, I personally, and I can say a lot of other people also wanted Jason House to run for mayor in 2021 for his own personal reasons. He was not ready. We always thought he would be a good fit for mayor. He wasn't ready. And, we looked into everybody. I even asked Valerie Stubbs. I asked Mary Avant. I talked to several people saying, hey, why don't you guys run? But again, they weren't ready. So Tiffany jumped out and she just decided she was going to run. I do know that Valerie Stubbs said, hey, you're not ready. But she wanted to run. And so Jason and Kiana and Kevin Bowens and Allison Key, they were all good, upstanding people. So we decided that we would help her.
Got it.
We wanted to help her. We thought we could. We knew that she was a little bit, what can I say? Just a little bit different.
Unpolished.
Unpolished. That's a good word. That's the best word.
That's the word I would use.
What I was going to come up with, but we thought that she would at least listen because she did pretend like she was listening in the beginning, and even though she was a little unpolished, she did at some point seem to want to help the community. Like her first violence march she had in 2019. I went door to door with her with former trustee Dwayne Muhammad to give out her flyers. She was excited about it. She just is a little ghetto. I mean, but that's, we can't punish people for that.
Okay, that's fair.
And criminal and all this craziness. I did one of the very first FOIAs that showed the criminal side when they were doctoring invoices for hotel stays. So I've been doing this since April of 2021. We knew then. We knew when she won the primary, we knew at least we were going to have to try and reel her in. It was so funny because I talked to Jason. I said, y'all have to take her powers right now. They was like, Sherry, you can't do that. Give the girl, she hadn't even been in office. You can't do that. I was like, okay. But again, I do understand why they couldn't do it that day. Then we had a lot of pushback because it's like, oh, you guys are beating up a single woman or a single Black woman. Or listen, Dalton is 90-some% Black. I mean, it's a mostly Democratic town. Nobody voted for Tiffany because she was a Black woman. They need to stop that. we voted for her because we thought that she was going to be a team player. She ran on transparency. We used to do tea with the trustees. We used to do that online during COVID when she was running. And so we had all these plans as a community, and,
Mm-hmm.
and on day one, and I heard it
She said
myself.
day one.
The very first meeting she had, she said there's going to be some changes, and then she went and she changed citizens address to public comment.
Public comment.
So we knew, and then when she had, there's a guy, Marquis Son. He was her campaign manager he was in Dallas, but he was doing everything remotely for her.
No, not okay.
She lied on him and said she did not know him and that he was a stalker. So that could have gotten him in trouble. She's an elected official. And when she did that, I was done because he did everything in his power to help her. But he did quit right before the primary, a couple of days before, because he said, Sherry, she's not going to do the right thing. And I said, well, what do we do? Because we were all working together.
For sure.
He said, unfortunately, she's going to win this race. And you guys are just going to have to do everything in your power to keep her on a leash.
Wow.
And it didn't work. She has supporters, and she has a lot of, well, not now. She really doesn't have as much as she used to have. Like, even with the police department, those guys, they are not thinking about Tiffany, and they're not helping her. She's got Kamal now, and she barely got Dot. But she really doesn't have any support now. So, and she knows it, but she'll never try to save face. She'll go on camera until the end. She'll act a fool until she gets those handcuffs on her.
So you said she has a lot of support. Mm-hmm. When we look at the results of the election, argument is that she has about 530 people in Dalton.
I should correct myself. I should have said had.
What happened to him? That's what I was going to ask. Like, did she have? Are you saying she had more than that?
I think she might have had a little more than that. I mean, really? When you add people from the township, and I will say this: those bingo people, those are not Dalton people. Those are mostly South Holland and Calumet City people. They're not Dalton. She doesn't have a ton of Dalton people, and a lot of the people, like, they're getting it now with all the exposure. And I got to give it to the social media YouTubers, because you guys did us justice when the news wouldn't. Those 3 and 2 minute segments on the news. Listen, I was on Fox News in New York, the New York Post. I talked to the New York Post. I talked to all types of people from all around the country, but nothing like the YouTube and the social media. You guys have really did us justice. Platforms like yourself, not all.
Praise God. Thank you.
So we need to thank you guys, for helping us, because it wasn't easy. And people, I don't like them to, give me praise for doing this. And they'll say, oh, you started this. Well, no, I started calling YouTubers. That's what I did. I reached out to Edgar County Watchdogs. I reached out to Pink Book Lessons, Hannibal is Hungry, Shawan Burns, people like that in the beginning. And then Jedediah came on to help us. And then we all in the queue, and then yourself, and there's several others, We even got homegrown people now that are helping us. So, we really appreciate that.
No, that was great. Thank you so much. I'm glad that the YouTubian nation was able to jump out here and take part in this. And I agree with Peach right here. New media rocks. Absolutely. All right. What do you think about? Okay. Do you mind giving me your opinions on Cassandra Hobson Jordan, the one I affectionately call Crash Out Cassie? What is your overall opinion of her? And then I want to ask you about when she's saying things about who's committing these crimes or whatnot, or infractions. What do you think about her?
So I think that she is a mental case, honestly, and I say that, and I'm not trying to be funny, but she don't want this over here. I was looking for, because I've been on a social media break as far as like Facebook and stuff. I haven't been in politics or anything like that. But she is a troll. She says everybody else is a troll, but she's a troll. I was on Martin G's live. We were doing a live, and then she came on the live, and she was trying to pretend like she wasn't who she was. I knew her voice, and she was talking crazy. And I said, well, if we're not voting for Tiffany and we're not voting for Jason, are you running? And she got quiet. We asked her, did you vote? And I had Martin. I sent him her voting record. She ain't voted in Dalton. She hasn't even voted in Dalton. So why do you think you should be the mayor of Dalton and you've never voted in Dalton? And then if you listen to her interview with Regina,
Are you about to say it? Go ahead and say it. Please say it.
she said when Regina asked her how long has she been thinking about running for mayor in Dalton, she said, well, I was going to run. It was either going to be Harvey or Dalton.
Yep.
Hey, dumb. Do you realize you have to live where you run for office?
Maybe she has two houses. You know, she'd be flipping her houses.
You have to live where you register to vote. She ain't voted. She didn't even vote in the last election. We put it up on the screen, and she was lying the whole time. She wasn't even paying attention. It was on the screen, and she was lying. Then she went to a party, a stepper set, as we call them here. And she went to a stepper set with her camera, pretending that it was a fundraiser for herself. And people were saying, we don't even live in Dalton.
Right.
How crazy is that? It's a form of mild retardation, in my opinion.
Oh, don't hold anything back. Let's know how you really feel.
True.
No, okay. So if you were able to speak with Red and D Love, if y'all want to jump in, please feel free. If you felt like you could give Cassandra some sisterly advice or direction, guidance, whatnot like that, what would you tell her?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't know if I could really tell her anything. She's a couple years younger than me, but I would tell her, why waste your time? You know, jump on. If you really cared about the community, you would jump on and help out the Clean House team instead of trying to run against and talk crazy. Because clearly, I mean, she says she's been here 17 years. You know what? I promise you, I've missed 2 tea with the trustees, and that's when my bonus son got married, and I was sick. Every single tea with the trustees, I've been there. Board meetings, I haven't gone as much in the last few months, but I'm always diligent on, watching them and all that stuff, doing work and all that. I've never seen her in my 26 years of being here, and her 16 or 17 years.
17,
never seen her. The first time I saw her, she showed up at a tea with the trustees, maybe the month before Lori Lightfoot did her first report.
Mm-hmm.
And she only came to 1, maybe 2. I'm not sure. She was at both Lori Lightfoot reports and maybe one or 2 board meetings.
So I think it's fair to say, like, a regular, because if you're going to be mayor, you're going to have to come to the meetings. Like, you can't phone those in. So you're going to have to be here at the meeting. You might as well get used to it, get comfortable. You know, you don't need to have a new employee walk around day. You should already kind of know what's going on.
How about you should know what you're doing, and you should know the rules of what the mayor does and even what the trustees do. But how about you are going off on the board, and remember, those are the people that you have to work with. You're not, if let's say she did, for kicks and giggles, she did win, which we know that's not going to happen. I said 3% like you did, but I'm not necessarily.
Yeah. I'm going back. I might have to give a discount.
Right. Me too.
I might be on discount.
But, there are some weirdos out there because, I'm not totally convinced one way or the other that she's a plant. I know a lot of people think she is. I know that I do believe that there was some talks with Tiffany, and I think it was through Denasha Harrison because he definitely was with Tiffany in the beginning because myself and Chief Collins' wife, we were behind him leaving the Lori Lightfoot first report, and he was talking on the phone, and he said it. He was like, I don't know if I can run with her.
Wow.
See? Yep, we heard it. Yep, sure did.
He didn't know if
So,
he could run with Tiffany
with
or
Tiffany.
Cassandra.
Tiffany.
Okay. Okay.
So,
so I've done a review of Denasha Harrison. I don't think anything ill about the gentleman. I do believe I think he's genuine. Why do you think he hooked his horse to her and not like the Republican candidate, the Republican team? They got a full slate. Why do you think he hooked himself up with her? Because if she wins, they're gonna still end up having to work with the people that just been bad mouthing for the last 2-3 months. Why do you think he chose her over anything else?
because I don't think he is as genuine as you might think. You know, and it's fair to say that because he's mild. Sometimes he talks like he's not nut like she is. But again, why would he work with her when she is totally cuckoo for Cocoa Puff?
Wow.
I mean, that makes no sense. And then he won't denounce the things that she's doing. Some of the crazy things that she's doing, he will not denounce it. Now, she's flying off the handle, being ignorant. You know, she's got 9,000 aliases. I mean, come on now.
She does have a lot of aliases.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what it is?
Who are you, Cassandra McBride?
She's got a lot of club names. That's all. She just, when she go to the club, she got to give different names at the club.
Mm-hmm.
So, and spell them differently.
Right. And I don't know. I don't know why he.
I'm gonna say Sherry. First of all, Sherry, you look good. I didn't know you was that old. If she younger, I said, I didn't take you to be there.
She's 55. I'll be 57 in August.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
What is your diet?
Yeah, we might need to turn this into something else here.
Okay.
Wait, are you for real?
Listen, I'm on a diet. That my pictures I got a little makeup on and stuff, honey. Come on now.
But even in real life, you look good.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're supposed to look crazy when you get older, but you know what we're saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Basically, all compliments to your regime, whatever you do.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you.
I thought it was kind of weird that he said he came from the west side to run in Dalton. Like he's come to save Dalton. And originally he said he was running for mayor. Now he's
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, so I don't know. He might have said that. I was at the first meeting when he announced himself. He said that he had been living in Dalton for a year and that he was going to run for trustee. I saw that, and he probably did because you can't hear and see everything.
Sure.
But I'm with you. I don't understand that. Why not just help out? Why even the people that support Tiffany, at this point she's not going to be in there. Cassandra's not going to be in there. Why not just come on over and try to work with Clean House? And if it's something you feel like they're not doing, hold them to the fire about it. Because I have talked to Jason, and I have always said, if you start acting like her, we're going to fist fight.
Not fist fight. Will it be pay-per-view? Will it be pay-per-view?
Listen,
that's all I want to know.
Listen, we can stream it on your show.
Please.
I'm ready. But again, why try to come up with all this crazy stuff that actually is hurting the residents? People, if you really live here and you really love the community and you really don't want to leave, why not just do what's right? Come on, it makes no sense. Tiffany did a whole rap video. She looked like a whole fool.
Not a whole fool, not a half fool.
A whole fool. A 360 fool.
Hey Sherry, I have a question for you. What do you? I know you have an inside scoop. If you could share, if so, I understand. What do you do with the Just Ice?
What are my thoughts on Just Ice?
Yes. What is the plan? If you know about what are they going to do with that after Jason House get into office?
So I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they sell it because it needs to be just gone. At this
point, just gone. Oh no.
We don't need it. I mean, because it's not going to be used. Nobody's going to be in the middle of Greenwood ice skating. No, it's just not going to happen. She told a lie and said that It was open to the public. It's not, and if she doesn't like you, you definitely can't come across on that just ice. So no, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. There is nothing we can do with it. Just I say sell it or sell it and make arrangements to sell it to the park district and let them do something with it.
Do you all have anything like a food truck park or anything like that?
We do not right now. If I'm not mistaken, I can be corrected. I think we don't have. You can't. Food trucks aren't allowed in Dalton right now. I mean, like if they had like
Really?
a
Darn it.
special event, at the park
For
district,
sure.
I believe they could come up and do something like that. But just to be on the move in Dalton, and that may be something they can change. I mean, it just needs to go before. Well, now we'll have cow meetings again. So, and then we'll have committee meetings. So things will come from the committee meetings, which each trustee will have be over like the committees
For
of
sure.
like police and fire and things of that nature. Then they can take what from their committees, they can take it to a cow meeting and discuss it with the residents. The residents can come to the committee meetings as well as the cow meetings if they really want to know what's going on and be a part of it. And then it could go for to a voting meeting if whatever they decide to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So would it be easier in your mind, just ice skating rink, sell it, turn it into a food truck park, something that revenue generating, or just get rid of it? What would you say, in your opinion, Britton?
I'd say my first thing would be to sell it, because whoever you sell it to will have plans to do something with it, and they'll be responsible for the taxes, and and it could go back on the tax roll. But what you just said, and I never thought about it, a food truck park or something like that, that would be nice, to do something with it as well. But just for me, and because we are in so much debt and we really have to rebuild from the ashes, I say sell it. But
Okay.
again, that is something, another thing that they can think about. That's an awesome idea, in my opinion. Never thought about it.
Okay.
As
We
long
used
as
to.
Tiffany keeps her gross burgers out of the food truck park.
Well, you know what? No,
Right.
people. You know what? It's the marketplace. It's the
Somebody about
marketplace.
them nasty burgers.
Then the market will speak. I'll let the market speak.
But Good Burger was dissolved.
Yeah. So, but even if she tried to start it
Tiffany
back
has
up,
anything to do with it.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. So,
If they don't follow rules.
Right.
so Britton, I thank you so much, because I really I'm hoping and praying that I can get some other young people on here to talk about what their plans are once they become mayor on April 1st. We hopefully. But what would you say would be maybe the first three things that you would say Team House needs to do on day one?
I would say on day one, go into every department and apologize to everybody that works there that's doing their jobs, and let them know it's going to be okay, and offer them some counseling. That should be the
Okay.
first thing that they should do. The second thing they should do is remove everything, all the posters, and sign everything with her face on it.
And name.
And name, and change the locks on everything. I mean, so give the people who have to help make things move forward, give them a sense of security. Get rid of everybody who was helping her steal or whatever she was doing. That's it. That's what you have to do. And then let the community know what you're doing. So those would be my first.
Okay.
Have a bond party.
That too.
Yo. All right.
Because
So we
they're
got
going to cover some stuff. They're going to uncover a lot once they get in there and she's gone. They're going to uncover some stuff.
All right. So we got to get we got to work on this debt situation. And I have no idea fully. I'm sure they probably don't either, how much debt they're actually in.
I think they know. I think that Freeman is telling them, or has really, I think they had a handle on it before, because they were kind of keeping up with things. And even though they knew they were keeping track of things, I'll say that because that's how we knew how many checks were in the drawer.
Okay.
Because they're keeping up with it. And Jason and Kiana, they don't play about finances, so they know. It was just Tiffany kept yelling and screaming over them. They're not paying the bills. They're not paying the bills, which we know was a lie. I do think that people, like all this money she was saying that she got grant money and this and that and the third. Springfield is not stupid, although they're not. It looks like they're not doing anything about her. I believe that they are really gonna, once she's gone, they'll be at Clean House's disposal. To a certain degree. They know that they got to help us. We know that what we have to do. We know that there's going to have to be some extreme measures to get us back where we need to be. So I think they have a good handle on it, and I think that people are just waiting on her to leave. Now I've heard of some opportunities that businesses in Dalton have actually received, but they won't do anything as long as she's there. So, and now she's gone. So I mean, even the employees. I mean, I know you guys saw the Tommy G's video yesterday. You got people smiling. You see, they were employees walking up. They came to clean houses. I was there, of course, and it was about, I want to say 20 employees there.
Wow.
Yeah. Police officers coming up to hug him. It's going to be okay. And now it's not going to be a quick fix. I'm even saying it's going to take a term, more than a term, but who am I?
Okay. All right. Shout out to Lady Luck Club has jumped into the panel as well. Shout out to you.
LLC. Right. How you doing?
As always, Lady Luck Club. She's earning that other L, the late Lady Luck Club.
I told him I had to work.
I don't even know what you're talking about. New phone. Who's this? New phone. Who's this? New phone.
How you doing? How you doing, Deacon? How you doing? Praise the Lord, church. Praise the Lord, everybody.
We up in here. Okay.
I hope you all enjoyed the video because Tommy G is phenomenal, and I knew he was going to handle the business. He slam dunked it.
Oh, yes, very good. We enjoyed that. That was a lot.
I was asking. I sent him a text. I was like, "When are you dropping the video?"
You gotta tell him I said I wanted to react to his video. I just want to get his permission on it, but since everybody already doing it, but yes, tell him I said, "What's up?"
Look, I was like, and when he said 5:00, y'all know I was the second person to view it.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was really
good. I knew
it
was coming. Yeah, I knew it was coming because he said after the first one, like, I will be back, and it was, it's just he's just proof that they're even outside looking in. It's not hard to see all the things that she's doing. It's like you either are blind, you don't read, or you just tapped out in La La Land if you can't see how bad she is and the nonsense she's put up and the destruction she's caused in 4 years. And there's no excuse for it. She did it on her own. No one forced her to do the stuff she did. No one put a gun to her head. She made these decisions and these choices. And I always have to, remind people when they want to talk about the trustees. The trustees does not have a direct criminal contempt of court charge either. So that's proof that she goes and go rogue on her own many a times.
Absolutely. But that's what I say all the time. Like they'll say, but the trustees should, and that's what Denasha and Cassandra keep saying, what the trustees should have did. And my question to them is how? They are not, they've taken her to court. I mean, they could snatch her by her hair and try to get her to do something, but that's not legal. They have to do things legally and in order. They can't make it. Tiffany has said it. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. In fact, at a board meeting, she said, "Watch me."
Watch
just
me.
Like that.
Sure did.
She said, and she is, and she meant that. She said, and then she did a interview with, what was it? It wasn't Essence. I can't remember who it was. Was it Black Enterprise? She said it's more than one way to skin a cat. When you don't give her what she wants, that's what she's just going to do it, and she's going to do it anyway. And I think people struggle with, her title. I'm the mayor. So they don't know when she says, okay, let's do it. And then the person just says, okay, I'm going to do it, because they've never seen anybody this rogue. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, never. And I voted I did my first vote in 1986, and I have never regretted a vote. She is the first vote I regretted in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And many people have said that. I mean, and the trustees have even said, we regret the support. If it got to a point where they decided to put their support behind someone over the former mayor, they made the choice and they regretted it. It's like, when do they get the grace to say, we tried to rectify this? We took this girl to court and there was a misstep with the voting process. We tried to do what we could. We tried to stop her on so many levels. They got her off the bank account. They did what they could do through the courts, and they try their best. And it's like, when do they get the grace?
Right. Because
everybody's willing to give her to say, hey, they did try to put measures in place to remove her, to have her recalled. They did do all of that. And people are still sitting here saying, oh, well, it's their fault. No, it's not. Let's be grown about this. She makes decisions like a grown adult, even though she has the mind of a petulant child. And at the end of the day, she should be held accountable for the things that she has done. And I've gone over several court documents and videos where I'm sitting here telling people the judges have already determined certain laws that she has even broken that are in court documents. What are we doing? So it gets to a point where it's like, okay, those who want to continue on with that, like, Cassandra, I don't even know. I think Danash needs to really just rethink his connection with her. But just going on this tangent about that, they don't want to read the court documents that have said, here are laws that she's broken, or the fact that she made an agreement for Jason House to be on the bank account and for her to be removed off, or that she was at Thornton Township crying, talking about, don't give me credit cards, don't give them to me, even though she had already misused some. And never provided invoices or receipts for them. Things that you naturally would do in finance. So these are the things that she chose not to do. It's put the blame where it belongs. Stop blaming trustees for her actions and for the things that she did on her own. Case in point, the court. That charge for contempt, she's going to have to answer to that judge by herself. No trustee will go in there and speak on her behalf, because they were not charged with direct criminal contempt of court. She was.
Exactly.
There you go.
I've had this same debate with people on and off of Facebook regarding the trustees of Dalton and how they ran on the ticket with Tiffany. And their whole point was, well, they ran with her, so they must have been with her at one point. I said, yeah. And there are couples that have been together for a long time because they saw something in that person in the beginning that aligned with who they were in that moment. And then once they got married, the change came. And people flip. And you can't determine. I mean, I don't know if anybody else watches Snap, but Snap has me in a place where I don't really trust people anymore. I don't know when you're going to snap or change on me, because it happens. People change every day. So just because I'm with you I'm in alignment with you here, doesn't mean that at some point you or me can't switch. So as you were saying, Lady Luck and Sherry, you have to give people grace and allow them the space to say, you know what, when I made that decision initially, I thought I was making the right decision, but now I see later it wasn't the right decision, and I'm trying to change it. And I was telling them, they've gone through all of the channels to try to rectify it.
Right.
What do you want them to do?
Well, they don't
And
want to hear that though. People do not want to hear that now. I don't take it, and I refuse to take responsibility for her actions. I'm not doing that. I
Right.
mean, because like you said, we're all adults. So if I decide to be a criminal, that's on me. She decides to be a criminal, and those RICO charges are coming. What people don't understand is the feds, they work slow and steady. They
Yep.
work slow and steady. And again, when they visited my house on Valentine's Day, 2024, that's what they told me.
Yeah.
Work slow and steady.
Yep.
And everybody, they had to interview hundreds of people. So you got everybody that works at the township, you got everybody that works at Dalton, or most people, and then you have vendors, and then
Yep.
you have residents and constituents, you have business owners. All these people have to be interviewed
That's
so
right.
that they can make sure every charge, and I'm
That's right.
thinking at least 20. What you
right.
think? So
Yeah.
again, all that stuff is a process, and I don't think they were. Include myself. We all were in a rush for them to pick her up right then and there. But then it's like, okay, if we pick her up now, we don't have everything, and I think they need to get every single thing because she needs to be held accountable for everything that she has
Absolutely.
done. Residents have been threatened.
Hmm.
People, I mean, trustees didn't say much, but listen, they've been threatened too. I mean, I was threatened online, and then Hannibal he did a live about it, and a man from Colorado started calling all of the state representatives. That's how the FBI ended up at my house.
Hey,
Because
Wow.
shout out to Hannibal. Shout out to Hannibal.
they came to my house, and I was laughing because I was on the phone. Full disclosure, I used to work for the Dalton Fire Department. So I
Okay.
was talking to, at the time he was still the chief, McCain, and we were laughing. And I said, it's a gray truck in front of my house with smoke windows. And then we laughed and said, it's probably the feds. Ha ha ha. I did not see them walk up to the door. They did not ring the bell. They knocked on the door. Okay. I opened the door, two agents with their badges. I was
Oh yeah.
like, well, come on in. And I
Okay.
didn't know why they were there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why they were
Okay.
there, because her food pantry man threatened to take
Keith
my
Price.
family out on social media.
See,
Wow.
that
Yep.
Wow.
nonsense, and
Can I say
all that
this?
stuff they do. That they know it when it comes down to it. When she stands before the judge, she's not going to be able to blame the trustees for a darn thing. So it won't matter at the end of the day. It's like people
Mm-hmm.
say that they're just throwing up smoke and mirrors. I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say one of the things that I always think about when it comes to the FBI and Tiffany, they
Mm-hmm.
probably could have had this case locked a long time ago. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is
Mhm.
Tiffany keeps talking,
Right.
and the more she talks, the longer they wait. Because she just keeps saying things and saying things and saying
Mm-hmm.
things. I'm just like, who's talking to her? Can somebody tell her? It was like R. Kelly on Gayle King's show.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
her every day.
But people were
Like,
really
shut.
still going before the grand jury. People were really still going before the grand jury just a few months ago. Honestly, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They were.
Have you gone to the grand jury?
Me?
Yes.
Have I? Oh,
Yes.
no. But if and when I do, I would never say anything
Of
until
course.
after. You know what I mean? Until
Yes. Yeah.
after it comes out public, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not supposed to.
Right.
But again, I'm just a resident, and I've just been doing the work. So I have talked to a lot of people, and I might say something to you guys offline about that. But
Mhm.
it's very interesting. I mean, it's like a movie. I'm trying to find. I want Jennifer Hudson to play me in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We putting it. We putting a request now. Okay. All right.
Oh man,
I'm just
that'll be epic.
joking.
Make sure
Well,
you,
That'll be
one,
epic.
Sherry. Make
one
sure you
thing
email management.
one
Okay.
thing about the feds, and I said this, I was debating somebody about R. Kelly. I said, one thing
Hmm.
about the feds, when they come for you, your good is in jail. They don't come for you unless they know that they can put you in jail.
So I heard that she knows that she's going.
Oh,
Oh, really?
she needs to know, but she doesn't act like she knows.
Right. That's true.
Because
Sherry, where's
if I thought if when the IRS was looking for me for some back taxes, I was
Mhm. Look, I'd have been crying too.
I'm crying for you.
Well,
Right.
she
Sherry?
got people that don't tell her the truth. So, you still got people running around here talking about, well, if they ain't got it by now, they not going to get it because they don't know how the FBI operates.
Right.
And,
And
they
and
better
it's like,
find out.
just
it's
Google
rare.
it. They have an outline of how they do investigations
Yeah.
online.
She
But
knows that they coming to get her, and she knows
Mhm.
it's more than her. I was told it's probably a Rico, so I'm just gonna say
Oh, yeah.
allegedly it's a
Yeah,
Rico.
that would
She
be under Rico.
knows.
It's
I'm
three people
telling
I
you,
don't play with:
it's
the
a lot of
IRS, the
people.
FBI, and my mama.
It's a whole lot of people. It's a lot of stuff going on in Dalton. They
Mhm.
know. Everybody knows what's going on, including Tiffany. But again, she's never gonna be on social media doing anything but what she's doing until they put the cuffs on her. She will
Mhm.
never. She will never be humble. Jail is not gonna humble her. When she is in
Mhm.
jail, she is gonna
I
be.
said that.
She is gonna be doing a date line or a night line from the prison and still talking about they lied on me.
She's gonna
Mhm.
rob Blagojevich the whole thing until the end.
Hmm. The very,
Wow.
the
Sherry,
very.
does she live in Dalton?
When she ran for mayor, she did live in her mother's house.
Okay.
That is for sure. She did. Um, from my understanding, they moved around a couple of times. They lived in Tinley Park, so the house
Oh.
that she was in that she was not paying the rent, she wasn't there. She had moved out of that house long before it came out. So
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that she didn't still have the lease or whatever she was doing, but she wasn't living there. She was living in Tinley Park.
Oh.
Then they said she lived above the car wash. I believe it was true, but that's right by my house. If I could walk to the corner and see the car wash.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm not too far from it. I'll say that. And then I heard that she moved somewhere else
Mm.
because I think people started, saying, "Oh, they live at the car wash. They live at the car wash."
That gate's not closed
Car wash.
anymore.
That car wash is so funny,
But
man.
you know what? That car wash was not getting a water bill. They straight piped the water, so they're not even
Um,
paying a water bill. And before they straight piped it, he was paying what a resident would pay, like a residential bill. So he was averaging maybe $138 to $150 every 3 months for
oh.
a water bill for a car wash.
Mm.
wow.
Make it make
So,
sense.
And
so
that car
Sherry,
I
wash
highly doubt
stayed
they pay
packed in the
rent.
summertime.
They probably don't pay rent.
No,
Sherry, so
well, the
your
building
yeah,
is good. I'm
right.
sorry.
So the water bill. So your water bill come out every 3 months, not every month.
No, it's not. No, it's not monthly. It's quarterly.
Oh, see, in Harvey is every month.
Mhm.
Famous
Okay.
South
Mhm.
Harmon.
So
Wow.
no matter what they do, they just need to get it together because the billing is, we don't overpay for consumption. So in fact, if your water bill was correct, Dalton would be really smooth sailing because on average it's about $8 per consumption, but we pay 560. We haven't had a raise in the consumption. I don't remember there being a raise since I've been here. So,
Mm.
and then the businesses businesses pay less per consumption than the average resident in the South Cook County because they pay like $7.50 per consumption. And so that's we're losing money because if
You got
you
to pay
go
that,
Wow.
to other towns, they pay $15-$20 per consumption for water business.
Oh, wow.
and, and you still owe
Wow.
that water bill to Chicago. So how do you pay that if
So
you still?
now, from my understanding, and I could be corrected, if we're not paying the water bill to Chicago, that's new because we were set up on a payment plan. and they actually have access to our system to see
Mhm.
to make sure that we're paying it. It's $65,000. It was $65,000 a month. I could be corrected if it's changed, but that isn't anything that I've looked at in a while. But from my understanding, it was on an automatic payment to Chicago, because 3 trustees went and made a deal to make that happen, because the former mayor went and signed to just he made his own deal with Chicago, and he didn't put it before the board. So
He said he's gonna
we
make it
have
right
3
himself.
former right. We have 3 former trustees to go in and make it right. Now, I don't know if it's still right or not. You never know, because Tiffany is bankrupting us, so that may have changed. But recently, I know that we were paying it. I don't now in February, January. I can't tell you that,
Oh, okay.
Wow.
but we
Thank
were
you.
paying. We were paying.
Okay.
We're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. We really are.
Yes, you are.
We just gotta keep moving, and we just is she's out. That's the biggest hurdle, and we'll have plenty more. But Clean House just has to be transparent. If they're transparent and do what they need to do, I mean, people are just gonna have to get on board or move. We can't be here complaining, and then you only have 12 people at the board meeting. So
Right.
Exactly.
Can you
Exactly.
speak on what our friend Cassie Crash Out and her drive around town looking at houses?
mhm,
Can you explain to us, like, what is the process? And I'm gonna still ask this question if I ever get to talk to
mhm,
anybody else. But in your
mhm.
opinion, what is the actual process? What are y'all supposed to do with dead buildings? What do y'all and houses and such like that? What are y'all supposed to do with them?
So there are several things that they need to do. They can work with investors, or they need to just come up with something feasible uh, for either people in the community to buy homes, work with investors, make sure they're boarded up. So that first of all, people have to be safe. So we gotta if the homes are abandoned and they're open where people can get in them, that's not a good thing. So we just have to chop at it, chop away at it like anything else. Uh, Again, that's where those committee meetings
Mm-hmm.
and then those cow meetings come in, so we can decide together as a community how we're going to handle that. Um, Again, it's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of patience and prayer. Um, and I think that one thing about what we've gone through in Dalton is a lot of people never thought that a small Black community would speak up for themselves, and we did. And that also has brought a lot of attention to us. And there are people, like I said, that are willing to help us, and they'll come to the drawing board with us as long as she's not on board. So again, make them safe, make them feasible, make it feasible for people to buy some properties. Like my husband wants to get a building. I don't. He did never want to get it in Dalton, but if the incentives are right, you know what I
He
mean.
might be
He might he
persuaded.
might change
He
his
could be
mind.
persuaded.
Yeah.
So like my idea would be back to those food truck park. If we took
Mhm.
just ice skating rink and turned it into a food truck park, each
Mhm.
of course vendor would pay to be there. Let's say you did food truck park, food truck Tuesday and Saturday or something like that, or
Mhm.
um, dinner, have a movie out there and then have food truck park, whatever, several
Mhm.
times a week. And if vendors actually find themselves getting popular and they do want to actually start a brick and mortar restaurant, they might get premium opportunities to buy property or rent property or whatever like that as take your food truck and turn it into an actual brick and mortar building in Dalton, because you've been a part of the food truck
Mhm.
Tuesday or food truck Thursday, whatever like that. You almost get grandfathered in and you get some kind of premium to look at buildings and whatnot or find a location. There's just something to think about.
I mean, it sounds great to me.
Mhm.
Because I'd never thought about that until you said it, and I think that's a great idea, honestly.
I would do those restaurants and build up downtown Dalton.
And that was the point. Like you can get those in there. Do you mind speaking? And can any of y'all speak intelligently on how to revitalize downtown Dalton? Because it seemed like that was a sticking point for Cassandra as well. But I'm like, well, what's your plan? Like, she didn't really have a plan. So what? Like,
she doesn't have a plan on a lot of things that you got to start with. First off, the infrastructure, and then you got to then go towards generating revenue. I mean, it has to be attractive for people to want to invest and bring money into wherever. But just pointing out houses, first of all, it's not the mayor's job to rebuild houses. Now, they can focus on a wider issue such as infrastructure, but it is not the mayor's responsibility just to rebuild or renovate a house. That's not it. They have administrators in place that focus on a bigger issue of infrastructure for buildings and making sure that schools and houses and businesses are up and running. But that's what's delegated to those administrators in those departments that they oversee. So you have these people who are supposed to be in those roles that are experts in that field, right? So they come in and they advise you on, here's where you start. And here's a good point here. We start with Dalton Park District, for example. We make that pretty, have some events there, bring in some revenue, and then expand out. And then we take that money and reinvest it into more infrastructure, make more areas pretty, have more events, bring in more revenue. That should be kind of the thought process with that. Her going to houses that people might be living in, who knows? And then say, oh, well, they're not rebuilding this house. Well, that's not their actual job. It really isn't. It's something they can make an agenda or you can have a talking point for. But that's not a mayor's role. So what are you doing? You're pointing out something that every city has. She hasn't seen. Let me tell you something. She ain't seen abandoned houses until she's seen some in Atlanta. We got abandoned buildings, okay? We got abandoned factories.
We got abandoned blocks.
We got, I mean, whole areas and warehouses that are abandoned, that even in downtown, that could be used for something great. But even for a city as big as Atlanta, that goes to show it's not the mayor's job. And is it a good talking point? Is it something you can have as a platform? Yes. But how do you plan on getting to that point where these houses are being fixed up or these warehouses are being renovated? But we have a place to help with that. So she running her mouth.
Where they make the mistake too is a lot of times when people say, you guys need to do this, you guys need to do that. How come you haven't done that? That's not necessarily true because a lot of the things that they think we haven't done, we have done. Just like even with downtown Dalton, it's very small. It's only 2 blocks, first of all. And there was a gentleman, his name is DeAndre Rucker. He purchased quite a bit of property in downtown Dalton and they had things planned for it. But Tiffany did everything in her power to keep him from moving forward. And not only that, allegedly, they went into one of his buildings and they unscrewed the pipes and they let water run and they did water damage to the building. So they were doing everything. They wouldn't give him his licenses. They did everything in their power to stop the movement because she doesn't want anybody to do anything. She wants to have all the property. The same thing she tried to do to Dr. Scott is the same thing she tried to do to St. Patrick and everybody else. And she was successful with it with DeAndre because, again, the properties that he owns are sitting abandoned and nothing's being done with them. But it's because it's her. We have ordinances in place. She doesn't follow them. We have laws, all of that. She doesn't follow them. She does what she wants to do. And that has been the problem. So as a whole, as a community, we're doing what we need to do. She's stopping us. She's putting her hands, she's pushing on one side and we're pushing on the other side. So that's really what it is. A lot of times people will say, you guys aren't doing it, but we are. We really are.
No. Well, people that say that, they fully don't understand, even the powers that the trustees have and what they can and can't do. And I mean, think about the St. Patrick's Place. They had to take this mayor to court. That's nothing to do with the trustees. What were the trustees supposed to do in that situation? And if you ask those same people that keep saying, "Oh, it's part of the trustees' fault as well," explain how. And I want to know, based on their role and responsibilities, how. Go ahead, because just to hear that over and over again, it gets old really fast, and it comes from people who are very ignorant of the roles and responsibilities between the mayor being the executive branch and the trustees being that legislative branch. So how could they possibly get her to sign license permits when these people, the St. Patrick's, when these business owners, they were the only ones. St. Patrick's were not the only ones that had to take her to court to get something signed, a license permit signed. Yeah. How is that the fault of the trustees again?
Right.
That's the thing that people can't even explain. So it's silly when I hear people say that. I just laugh because I'm like, oh, good God, they just throw that out as a talking point and they still can't articulate how.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I had a question, Sherry. 2 questions for you. One of them is sometimes when I'm driving through the downtown Dalton, it be a lot of cars there. I'll be trying to figure out where these people at. What's going on down there over there?
So
is there a club?
There is an angel. It's a bar, and she's got an outside garden, like what you would call a beer garden. And then across the street, of course, is Dr. Scott's strip mall. So you've got the currency exchange is gone now, but there's a nail salon there, and then her establishment with all of her stuff is across the street. There is an eyeglass center on the other side of the street, but when you see all those cars, that's at Angels.
Okay, I was gonna stop and try to follow the people, but I said I don't know what I'm gonna walk into, so stop while I'm ahead.
It's like here, everybody knows your name. It's a friendly place. They'll receive you. They're very nice in there.
Okay, thank you. The second question is like that one house that Cassie had went to, the White House. I noticed that somebody had purchased it last year, but it's just still sitting abandoned. How do you find out, or do Dalton find these properties, and so does the property fines outweigh for people? It's hard for them to keep up to get the house fixed.
So, in the perfect world, they could be fine, but in the Dalton world, you got to remember we don't have certified code enforcement officers. So if we don't have that, they shouldn't be giving out tickets, because eventually that could be a lawsuit for the village, because you can't have uncertified or unqualified people writing tickets. Right. But they were doing it anyway. Like, I actually posted a video of when they came to Valerie Stubbs' house trying to give her a ticket for something that they weren't supposed to be giving her a ticket for. The code enforcement young lady wasn't certified. She had been laid off. She wasn't even supposed to be there. And she showed them, and she tried to give her a ticket for cosmetic work. Now, Valerie is a former trustee, so she knows the ordinances. So she's not going to do anything. And this stuff was happening in front. It was on her front of her house building. And you can see that. All you have to do is drive down the block, and you can see it. So she's not crazy. She wasn't just going to do something that she couldn't do. Right. But again, that's something that they're going to have to figure out right away. They're going to have to get some certified people in there to do inspections and, do all of that stuff. And then they have to revisit the fines themselves, because they were all over the place with the fines, because you don't even know half the time if this is even the correct amount that you should be fined, if you should be fined at all.
Right.
Good point.
Okay.
There should be some state statutes to kind of outline some of these fines and what, by state law, what what would be the maximum for somebody? Because I know they talked about that in the news when she was giving out them parking tickets, $500 parking tickets. It was like, well, the amounts for these types of tickets based on the statute code was beyond. I mean, it was so inflated.
That was Louis Lacey. That was the former police chief, and he did that on his own.
Right.
Another cop, a Dalton police officer, was a whistleblower on that to get that stopped. So again,
Right.
there are things that are in place, but when Tiffany took office, she just started doing whatever she wanted to do. So when she would have her code enforcement, uncertified code enforcement officers go around, if she decided that she wanted to charge you $1,000, there are people that you would talk to, and they would say they get a $500 ticket, and then the one lady code enforcement person would come around and say, "Oh, well, just give me $250." Stuff like
Not
that.
cutting deals.
Yeah, shady, underhanded stuff.
Not
That was
cutting the
my
deal.
point. It's like there are certain laws based on certain codes that require a certain maximum of a fine or penalty for. So for them to be unqualified doing that, I'm not surprised. That was kind of what I was alluded to. I'm not surprised that was happening, and it seemed like it was done intentionally so that they could do those backhanded deals to say, all right, you give me $200 though, we good, we'll clear this off, when it should never exist in the first place. So yeah,
right, and that's why we always say, like when we have the board meetings and Trustee Belcher gets on them, because they pay attention to that stuff. They know what should be done. And that's why I always say, a lot of the times the people will tell us what we need to do. We know what to do. We know what to do. It's not that we don't know what to do. It's just Tiffany was just rogue. She did whatever she wanted to do, and she didn't care what anybody said. And it was like she's just going to burn down to the ground, because she knows that she's not going to be. She knew probably a year in that she was going to be a one-term mayor. She knew when she got recalled. The people spoke. A judge changed that on us. So again, we know what we need to do. It's just that we need to be able to get down in there and do it. And we just need to keep it a buck. We can't do anything until she's out of those seats. I mean, they have really, really put a leash on her. I will say that. However, we just can't do everything until May 3rd, I think it is. Whatever that Monday is.
So
Jason Lee, gets in the seat.
So let me ask you a question. Here, please put on your tinfoil bonnet or tin laced bonnet. Is it possible that some cabal did not want Jason House to secure? Well, let me ask this. If it wasn't for Cassandra, what would have happened after the primary?
Then Jason would take the seat. So when Tiffany ran for mayor in 2021, Burge, that's the crazy police chief that came after Lacey, he actually ran against her as a write-in, right? We've never really dealt with that. Usually after the primary, it's over, because it's a Democratic town, and you just don't have Republicans run. So had Nutball not wanted to do what she's doing, Jason, he still wouldn't take the seat until May, but we wouldn't just have to go through this dealing with the general election.
Okay, so again, tinfoil hats are in place. What if, because he would have been able to start moving things around if it weren't for Cassandra. Is that fair? After the primary, it'd been like, well, there's nothing else to do. We'll just wait till May. He'd been able to make decisions because he would have been the mayor-elect because there's nobody else running. Is that fair or no?
No, he would not be, because she is still the mayor until May 3rd or whatever date, Monday, that meeting, the first Monday of the month.
So she would still be
doing things, though. They are. Right. They are moving and shaking. They just, we can't know what they're doing, but they got it together. Trust me. They're doing.
So it's the Republican now? Is that Republican? Is that Republican running Wait, no,
in
sorry, I'm
Thornton
thinking about
Township.
Township. My
Yeah,
bad.
that's township.
All right, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, they no, the Republican team, they're running against the Democratic team,
Okay.
And Nate. Okay.
and they
And well, no, that's Nate is in Thornton.
Yeah, I'm
he's running
getting
Yeah.
for
confused with
supervisor.
Thornton.
Yeah. We get it together. Come
Can
on,
they
you
at least change
undocumented.
the locks? I mean, can they pop the locks or something?
Yeah,
Do
when can you
like we
change the
did here in
locks? Here we
Atlanta.
go.
We
So
we locked the guy out down here. So I mean, can they not do that up there?
allegedly, Village Hall. No, I know Village Hall is open. It's open now. Remember, our Village Hall was closed. I have heard, and I did not hear this from trustees, so I guess I have to say allegedly, but allegedly I've
Allegedly.
heard from some employees that some locks have been changed.
Oh.
The employees that I talked to, and I talked to quite a few of them, they sound very happy these days. They feel good. They feel relief. Um, they just, like I told you guys, when we were at the clean house celebration, it was about 15 or 20 employees in there.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's the Wiz. Brand new day.
Yeah.
Y'all watch that on your own.
I'm
Don't
so
give me
happy.
a copyright strike. Don't give me a copyright. Because that would definitely give me copyright. Y'all
Hey,
wild.
Sherry.
Yes.
Sherry, I wonder how I would like for you to talk about the Shaw brothers, because I think that's very important about the suburbs of Dalton.
So, what's so funny? And you might think this is weird coming from me. When I moved here, one of the Shaw brothers was the mayor. And
Wow.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I didn't have no problem. It was
Okay.
clean. I didn't have any issues. I've been going to the board meetings. The board meetings were not drama filled, and they were like 45 minutes to an hour. He was the mayor when I first moved here, but he died uh, shortly after, because he became the mayor in 1997. I forgot when he died, but he died, and then Ronnie Lewis took over. When Ronnie Lewis took over, that's when the decline started. And then Riley Rogers, let's just say him and I don't like him. He wasn't my cup of tea. And then Tiffany, again, I didn't dislike her or like her. She was the lesser of two evils, but I really didn't think that she was the way she is. So I say when the shopper, I mean, we had money coming into to the town as well, because he knew how to go down to Springfield and lobby for money. Tiffany doesn't know how to go down and do nothing.
She ride that
Imagine
bike
her
though.
going to Springfield. When she went to Springfield, remember her trip to Springfield when she spent $100,000 riding bikes, pulling a DJ on a trailer. They spent almost $200,000, and they weren't even in session.
Wow.
Wasn't that for Tiffany Cares? That wasn't even about.
That was in her,
Exactly.
but that was not her.
That
That was
wasn't
not
even about
her.
dollars. So can you imagine imagine? So we spent $200,000 that wasn't even about us, and she came back or what, I don't know if she did it before or after, and then gave herself $10,000 to her charity that wasn't even in good standing with the state. Make it make sense.
And didn't she have Dalton and Thornton Township people?
Sure did. And then she took the Thornton Township vehicles and put her own posters over it, when you can still see the Thornton Township hanging off the side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that $10,000 donation came straight from Thornton. That was all levels of illegal. Good Lord.
And she put it on the agenda. I mean, she is the one who motioned to do it. Make it make sense.
Oh boy.
So
Is there any chance that I can get some meeting minutes?
Listen, Tiffany is a hot mess.
I'm asking for a friend. Can someone email me meeting minutes from the entire year of 2024?
Listen, but what I will say is Tiffany has really put a spotlight Dalton, of course, but Illinois has always had problems with politics. Think about how many governors we done had to go to jail.
Mhm.
Um, and then you think about politics in general. She's put a bad spotlight on women as far as politicians. Now
Mhm.
people are looking at everybody. The good news about it is everybody is being a little bit more politically savvy, and they're learning and they're going to their meetings because I said it to someone, I don't know what news outlet it was, but I said it can happen. People laugh at us. I'm telling you, they laugh at us, they judge us, but it can happen to anybody. It can happen in any town. All you have to do is elect a nut on accident, like we did.
How does Tiffany say it? Me today, you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And she has really shown us, and looking in her face, Tiffany is changed. Like, people talk
Mhm.
about her and stuff. She didn't even used to drink.
Oh, she
Oh,
begin turned
what?
up now. Oh, watch out.
She look like she doing all type of stuff now.
Allegedly.
Oh Lord, child.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Mhm.
Why does
Allegedly.
it
Based
not
upon
shock me? I'm
information.
not surprised hearing that at all. I'm just not.
Based
Sorry.
upon information and belief.
And
Sherry,
her eyes and that glaze she constantly has in them videos. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Listen,
hey, Sherry, who do you think
yeah.
who was going to be fired on yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you
Oh,
think?
keep
Who
the
I think is
chicken
going
nugget.
to get fired?
Yes, at Thornton Township, if it had
Keep the
happened.
chicken nugget.
They playing like they can't fire Keith, so I don't know.
Why they can't?
Listen, I don't even
Who
want to
needs
talk
to be
about
number
it.
one on the list with his smart mouth? I got time
Listen,
for me to go.
listen. They all need to go. He needs to go. I like Robert Hunt. I don't understand what he's doing over there. He was
Yeah.
a trustee in Dalton before,
Right.
and I just don't understand what he's doing. What are you doing? I'm not a fan of Keith Friedman. Everybody knows I'm the one who did the petition to get rid of him.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not of the, oh, you doing a good job now. I don't get none of that. I'm
Mm.
not gonna bash him because I'm trying to be a team player, but
mhm.
it's a lot. All of those people who continue, anybody that's still rocking with her in 2025. In fact, anybody that rocked with her through 2024, there's something wrong.
Right, right.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's some like
Exactly.
I love Dr. Nikita because she was there 4 months and then she started saying, something ain't right with her. And it was so funny because I would talk to the fire chief all the time and he said, listen,
Mhm.
Nikita and Carmen Carlisle, they not with her stuff. They around here looking like, what is she doing? And then
Mhm.
Nikita, when she quit, that say I woke up on social media and somebody said that she quit. So I went in her inbox, I messaged her and I said, hey sis, I heard you left. And I did it like 5:30 in the morning. I wasn't expecting her to respond. She responded. Well, now that I talk to her every day for the last almost 3 years, I know she's an early riser. But we listen. She messaged me back. I sent her my telephone number, and this was at like 5:45 in the morning. We talked to 11 that same day. We were on the phone all that time, and I
Wow.
was like, "Wow, sis."
Wow.
She told me her story. She told me everything that happened and how Tiffany, was, and I was with her through some wild stuff.
Mhm.
When Tiffany sent the police to her house trying to get her computer, it's just been
Wow.
it's been a lot. I'm telling you. Listen, we were down to getting ready to make videos in case something happened to her.
Mhm.
It's
My
a, it,
goodness.
this stuff. This is a real Netflix movie or a docu series.
Are you going to
Okay.
write the book?
Listen. I am so ready to go back into my normal life. I just
Okay.
want to, and
Normal life is
so
crazy.
I got locked out of my Facebook, and I don't know how that happened. But
Mm-hmm.
and I know if I go through all my stuff, I find the password and stuff. But you know what? I was like, I'm kind of liking this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
peace.
I get up. I don't want to get on down politics and look at nothing stupid. I don't
Yeah.
want to, you just get tired. I like to do what I do. Like I go in, I creep in and look at stuff on my
Mm-hmm.
TV. And y'all have me rolling. I love
Yeah.
you. Listen. When I tell you it's stitches, one day I was laughing so hard. I was like, "This is crazy. I got to go to bed because y'all had me cracking up." And I pick and choose what I look at because again, I've been doing this since April of 2021,
Wow.
relentlessly. My phone has
Protect your
run
peace.
every single day. I don't get holidays off. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot, and
Yeah.
it's almost over. And when people say, "Oh my gosh, she should have been arrested a long time ago," listen, I get it, but people are like, "How are you so calm?" I said, "Listen, if you've been doing this 365 days for the last 4 years, you'd be calm too by now."
Mm-hmm.
They coming, people. Don't lose hope. They coming.
Okay.
They are and are people. He's
Definitely
not gonna
coming.
They
get
coming
arrested.
now.
I don't even fight with people about that anymore because again,
Yeah,
I
me.
know when people were saying that she wasn't going to, she might win. Let me just say this: I 1,000% got why they were saying that because you're going on the statistics of usual politics, but
Mm-hmm.
it
Mhm.
was something totally different. People. I listen. I was out there with Clean House when we were walking and get petition signed, and when we were just out and about, even with the recall, when we did the recall, we had almost double the people come to vote her out than
Mm-hmm.
voted for her when she
Voted
keeps
for her.
running at
Yep.
82%. So at the end of the day, I'm like, I would go into the grocery store on my block. Nobody ever does yard signs. There were 6 people with yard signs on my block. And me, I got 3 in my yard. I got the big, huge one
That
and
probably
2
was
Right.
regular
your house I
sized.
saw then.
I got. I'm right up. Yep. I got one big one and two
Uh-huh.
two regular sized ones. Yep. And again, so I get it because if we just going on regular old politics, I can understand why people would have thought she might have had a chance. But from
Mm-hmm.
being boots on the ground, and when I tell you I'm boots on the ground, my phone rings every single day. Every single
Mhm.
day. People,
Every day.
if every, and I'm not even exaggerating. Every single day. Some days when I don't even want to be bothered, they be like, "Well, and I say, "Well, I'm sick today. I had RSV. I had that." People, well, I know you got RSV, but girl, I need you to. I need this. I need you to find out this. I'm like, Lord Jesus, let me
Mm.
get a little rest, y'all.
No rest for the weary.
I
None.
know.
But you know what? We're almost there. Just like I
You
was
are.
like, we're not gonna be crying the night of the primary. Ain't gonna be no tears. As soon as as soon as it came in, even though we knew it was gonna happen, everybody was bawling like big babies.
I got a
Yeah.
Wow.
question.
Uh huh.
Do you think that she's gonna have to get her behind carried up out that town hall? I'm just, asking for a friend.
Let me say this: if she had the support that she had a few months ago, I would say yes. But now she's just really got Kamal. Ain't nobody. No, listen, he's her personal driver because she don't have security anymore. Keith Price, I don't think I think he'll, show up at a few meetings if he has to. But
He was at
because
the other one, sitting there being
yeah,
smart about what's his whole deal? What is he holding on to here?
well, let me just say that I don't really say too much about him because of my situation with him. And when they came,
Oh, okay.
the powers
Okay.
that be came to my house. But what I will say is, they not listen. I think everybody at this point is just trying to jump ship and save themselves. So I think that she'll just go ahead. I think she's over it. I mean, she showed up at that. She's gonna try to get a little as much as she can, whenever she can. But I
Hmm.
don't. I don't, I don't think they're gonna have a problem. Well, I don't know what the supervisor plans on doing, but I know Jason ain't having it. She getting up out of there. Yeah, people think Jason is super mild. He's just not ignorant. And he's
Exactly.
never gonna be fighting with people and doing all that. That's just not who he is. And he's been the same. I've known him since he's been in that seat. I remember when he was a young man and he ran for mayor. Um, but he's always been very kind, and you can always call him and talk to him. He don't run from nothing. I mean, he's just not ignorant. And like he said, I'm not gonna be arguing with Tiffany because then they'll be saying I'm arguing with a woman. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna fight her and all that stuff. He said that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
Smart
And
guy.
when you argue with a fool, then it's hard to tell who the fool is.
Facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he
It's a
is
waste of
very
mental energy. Yeah, she half
yeah,
the words she wouldn't understand what we were saying anyway. So you
exactly.
Right.
gotta dumb down just to even try to debate and go back and forth with her.
But
All
you
your
know
words
what's
got to be
sad?
2-syllable words or less. You can't even be eloquent with it.
Right,
It's not worth it.
but what's really sad is she just really doesn't know how stupid she sounds. I mean, it's like when she'll speak, what was that movie? What was the movie? And she was like, I don't know what to say, Byron. She did that. What
Oh
who
my
does
God.
that?
Wait,
She
what?
did
That's
that.
that Medea.
Yeah, that's
Deal something Medea.
yeah, she said that.
Lottery ticket. It was lottery ticket or something like that.
Yeah, I
The
was like, did she
Byron.
Byron?
Yeah.
She
Uh,
actually did that at
With
a board
Tiana
meeting.
Taylor.
And because
Medea's
Mm.
family
Jason,
reunion. I thought it
yeah,
was that
she
one.
got
No,
mad.
it's not family reunion. It was something to do with a lottery ticket. Or
Really?
yeah,
I
because
don't
family
remember.
reunion is the one where was it family reunion? I don't know. Let me
I'm
see.
disappointed. I'm
They all
disappointed in this
come.
entire
Look, they
panel.
all blending together. I
But y'all
can't
know
put
this.
Right.
I'm
Tyler
disappointed
Perry
in
and
all of
them.
y'all. I'm
Because I
disappointed in
think
all of
no,
y'all.
family reunion was the one where the girl was supposed to get married to Blair Underwood. That's family reunion.
Supposed
The
to get married to
the
Blair
Medea, the
Underwood.
movie, the topic. You know what? It's at a point where I can't really keep up. Unless the title
Mm-hmm.
sticks out, I can't keep up with the Medea movies no more. I don't know.
Well, if you've seen
It's
the
one of
actual
them.
plays, if you've seen the plays, you'll
Yeah,
know that he takes pieces of each play and
play
makes
and
a
put in a
movie out
movie.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
God,
I
I
said,
wish
well,
we
how
could
you
something
gonna
different.
take this piece of the play and this piece of another
I
play
know, right?
and put this in one movie? That don't go together.
Hey, come on, Tyler Perry. We're all confused, bro. Do something else, please.
That-
Right.
We
I,
confused.
I I had to let my dear go to rest, lay to rest. I can't do it. I can't keep up. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
funny.
I got a I guess off the cuff question. It's not about
Mhm.
numbnut. How much do you know about the Cook County Treasurer Maria Papas?
All I know is that she got on board with Dalton once we started talking about audits, and she had to get on board. I don't.
Mm.
I don't necessarily none of them. You know what? To be honest, in Dalton, we
Mm-hmm.
have not had much public help from people. We
Mm-hmm.
have had help though. I mean, we have had help from State Rep Thaddeus Jones. We have had help from Senator Napoleon Harris. We've had help from those people. And Monica Gordon, the Cook County, you know, my nose is all stuck again. But we've had just those people and Mayor Our Power from Markham.
Hmm.
He's been supportive of us. We've had that, but you know, everybody else, I'm so disappointed. Chris Welch, Kwame Raoul, they won't get my vote unless somebody put a gun in my head. I'm sorry. No.
I hear you.
Wow.
So she wouldn't be one that would be I guess have some close tie or connection with this mayor, which would you consider her to be someone that probably would defend or take up for her?
No, I think the people that I named, Welch, Kwame
Uh-huh.
Raoul, I think those are the people who they say
Okay.
Trotter was his name, Danny Trotter, they say him. There are people who Marcus Evans, people like that. Now I don't know if
Uh-huh.
they still with her, But they were down with her in the beginning when she was really, when she first started acting a fool. Now, a lot of people, they can pretend that they're not with her because nobody is saying anything publicly.
Right.
Nobody has done. Remember when Thaddeus, he went ham on her publicly. When they did when she was trying to do the what was that? When she was trying to with
it was the caucus.
mental health. No, the mental health thing.
Oh yeah.
And then they
But I
they
thought
did a
that
letter not supporting her.
I thought that when she was what was it? She had gone to court about the caucus, and I thought she had added Thaddeus's name to her suit.
She probably did, but guess what? That's over with.
It's over with. But he made a big deal about him putting her. In fact, Max had to change the filing because
why did she? He was there, but remember she was begging Napoleon.
This is illegal.
Yep,
it's illegal.
She has a bad habit of putting people's names on lawsuits that don't want to be added to that nonsense. I mean, it's 50 did it to Stan Brown. I don't like him at all, but I don't blame him for being mad. Don't be adding me to your stupid lawsuit. I'm not trying to get caught up in this.
I was
all these judges mad at me.
I was up in the stands at the caucus, and I kicked that. I kicked that off. And then when she was down there, I flew down them stairs to stand right down there so I could see her doing all that begging. I was on the floor. You know what? I had to repent because I was laughing at her.
I would not have.
I wouldn't have been.
You would have to understand that
I wouldn't waste Jesus' time with repenting on that one.
Yeah.
No, because when you laugh like that, as grown as I am, you need to repent.
It's hilarious.
You see, you missed my reaction video to that day because I was hollering.
Okay.
That was epic. I said, "Oh, that sweet karma coming back on her for singing that with Ed Steve left." Now she had that coming. She be all right.
She don't say they wouldn't let me in. I had, what did she say? Hundreds of thousands. How many? She said it was a whole bunch of people out there.
Hundreds of people out there. They came in on drones.
They thousands came in on drones.
I'm here to tell y'all, and I can tell y'all this now. I got there at 6:30, and it might have been 60 people outside, and all of those people weren't for her.
Oh
no, I was outside. I was standing outside.
And I was like, oh, I ain't gonna be able to get in because it was a little line or whatever. It was a female cop going in the back door. I said, I'm going with you. And I get on in. I got in.
I got there at 6:15 and I couldn't get in.
Yeah, I got there about 6:30. I got in.
Oh, you said you went through the back door, right?
I just walked in with a police officer.
I was online with DWC.
What was I doing?
We did. It was you and another gentleman. I can't think of his name, but you all had
Mike. Yep.
Yeah, and I was in the comments. Yep. And then did I come up then?
I don't remember.
But yeah,
it's all like a blur.
You changed the lights in the back to match the cards that they had to hold up.
Yeah, we were being ridiculous.
We had a good old time.
When she came out, I was standing kind of next to Krigley when she came out, and he was like, "Tiff, what's wrong?" She looked like she was about to break down crying.
She was crying. She was crying. News actually caught her crying.
I believe.
I was like, I didn't know it was possible. Like she could make her eyes leak water. Like what?
That was her. She saw her paycheck go away.
It's a big paycheck.
You would cry too.
Yeah.
You would cry too if you knew what I knew.
No, my money. No.
She was hot. He was hot.
Well, she better cool off because it's over with.
Oh yeah.
She stood in the middle of that floor looking like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. I was like, look at you with all your pink.
Yeah, she was. Okay, let me ask a question about that. What do you think happened to all those shirts she brought? Remember, she brought she had arms full of shirts.
What a waste.
Whatever happened to those shirts?
Waste of money.
And she sent them back to the shop. to change them so that when she ran for mayor, it would say congratulations. But now I don't know where the shirts are now.
Ain't no telling.
Yeah,
Listen,
and I
I
got
had a shirt
I got
that
a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to talk over
Go ahead.
anybody.
Go ahead.
I'm listening. If
Who,
it's for me,
who,
go ahead. I'm listening.
who do you think those others were that she added to that bank account asking for a friend?
You mean the Dalton bank account?
Yeah.
Janice Johnson and Tangenique Miller?
That's who she added to the Fifth Third bank account.
From my understanding, those were the people that she added to the bank account. I don't know what made her do that, but I could be corrected. But that's what I thought.
So when she took off the village clerk, she added Tangenique Miller and who else?
Janice Johnson, from my
Janice Johnson.
understanding.
And Janice is a relative, right? Or is it Tangenique?
Neither one of them.
Neither. Okay.
So Tangenique
Wow.
used to work for the village under Riley's administration, and I liked her. I don't know what happened to her.
the money.
Tangenique, is that the
Money.
young lady that she fired?
Tangenique left,
Okay.
and she was gone, and people was beating up on her, and she had been gone.
Tangenique.
hmm Yeah.
And I'm
And
going to write that down.
Janice has worked for the village for over 20 years. So she was there during the Shaw administration. She was there during Ronnie Lewis's
Lewis.
administration, Riley Rogers. So I'm sure that when all this happened, I know she was like, what is going on? She probably was like, I'm sure she done seen a lot, but with Tiffany, she probably got a whole big, and she lost a lot of weight. I love her. She's a beautiful girl. She lost a lot of weight, but they were harassing her. From my understanding, they stuck her down in the basement, and she has like this big glass window, and I know exactly what office she's in. They say Kamal used to sit there and look at her.
Really?
And anything Tiffany told her to do, she better do it, allegedly.
Wow.
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 Tangenique Miller.
Listen, y'all, this girl, I think one of the reasons she's working so hard to stay in these positions, or she was, is because she knows when they really get to opening up that village hall, when she has no access, it's all the bones, everything. They're going to find
Oh,
everything.
man.
I think
They
they
sure
have
are.
shred parties.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they
I'd
always
be more
watching,
surprised
so
if they didn't.
they just sit back like laughing at it all, like ha, silly woman thinks we won't come for her.
Mm-hmm.
They watching. Oh man,
Okay.
Yeah, she playing in their faces, and they don't like that.
they don't.
They don't like that, and
That's what I'm
but she
saying. She
doesn't
keeps.
understand. And I don't trust her boyfriend either, because her boyfriend is probably trying to get back with his wife.
I mean, how could you trust him and he's still married?
I mean, really,
Okay.
he's got some fatal character flaws.
Right.
Yeah.
These are some pretty egregious character flaws.
And then if you go by what word on the street, he got babies and everything on her. So she needs to be looking at that. She
I
needs to
believe
be looking at that. Looking
when
at
Jed was in front of her house and he was talking to Kamal, I was literally riding down 294 I was coming from South Holland going to Bellwood, and I listened to that whole tirade, and he was talking about somebody named Candy. I was like, say more.
Yeah,
Who's
but she
Candy?
not. But that was his wife. That was his wife. She don't have any kids with him. That was one of his wives. She's a pretty girl. She's an entrepreneur. She got it going on. So allegedly, he has a baby in Atlanta by a hairstylist that's just doing well for herself. And then supposedly he has one here, because I know that she spoke to somebody, the sister of the one. So that's two little babies within the 4 years that they've been together.
Wow.
Crazy.
She put up with that. That's what she thinks she deserves. So I guess it is what it is. I guess it is what she deserves. She tolerates.
Loves him. She loves him. But I
God.
just don't understand what they doing. They supposedly broke. I mean, but between the two of them, they make $500,000 a year. What's wrong?
Exactly.
That's true.
He just looked. He may take a shower every day, but he just looked dusty.
He's so silly. He's so
Every
silly.
day. No, I average out about 3 days, 4 days. He look
I
like he
said
about a 3
May.
or 4 day
I
a week
said
type
May.
person.
Look,
He
you
may
know
take
what?
one every
To
day.
me, he just looked like he don't brush his teeth. Now
He
that
Oh
was
my
so
does.
funny
gosh.
Right.
Them
when
stiggies.
Because he smokes.
when Tommy G said it looked like her work campaign workers get paid with cigarettes.
And
Yeah, they
you
did.
say
They did
he,
look like that.
you say
Two
he go to
packs for 2
Indiana
Yeah.
hours.
and passing the cartons out.
But it's so funny because you never hear him talk, so it just freaks me out to
Mm-hmm.
hear him speak. The first time I heard him speak when they was harassing Jed and Alsop. Remember when they had Lacey
Oh
Yeah.
pull
yeah.
up and all that stuff?
Hmm.
That was the
Yep.
first time I ever heard him speak because he would never speak.
Yep.
He never speaks. So I heard him then, and then to hear him, it's just wild, wild.
Mm.
It's even worse to see here what he said in that Tommy G video was like, bingo, bam, bam, bam. Like, dude, shut up. You know how accounting works.
Mhm.
Like, why are you
My,
talking? Like, he probably should not speak because he's very ignorant. He's
It
very
takes
ignorant. He
Alicia
shouldn't
to
speak
talk
at
to
all.
him. When Alicia is talking to him, I just crack up.
Mm,
Okay.
mm, mm.
Oh
He
man, she
always
has
makes
a
him look
way of
stupid.
clowning him in just the epic of fashions. It's so funny.
Okay. Hey, come on.
Mhm.
Can't stand
Listen,
her.
Sorry,
they
man. I
pulled
can't wait to dump this girl and get away from all y'all.
Oh my God! Listen, they pulled for the presidential race. So me
mm,
and Miss Thelma, we were at Lincoln School, giving
mm,
out literature, and Krigley was with us, and Jason was there too at first, and
Okay.
then they left. Jason and Dr. Nikita, they left to go to another polling place for a few minutes. So, well, before they left, Tiffany and Kamal pulled up. They got out the car, and Tiffany was like, "How y'all doing?" I was like, "Did she really just speak to us?" And she
Yes,
was
she
like,
mm.
"How
did.
y'all
Lord.
doing?" And then Nikita was like, "Hey, come on, how you doing?" And Tiffany turned around and looked like, "Why he speaking to my man?" I said, "Girl, bye.
Girl,
Ain't
bye.
nobody
Don't know
thinking
about
about
what.
him." And
Nobody.
as soon as they left, Krigley started acting a fool. I was like, "Oh Lord!" So did
Oh
him and
really?
Thelma about to argue? Then he want. I'm like, "Do you know me and Thelma? We went to high school together. We went to Hyde
Mm.
Park together. Listen,
Oh
we
for
would have beat him up."
My
He
sister
said,
went to
"I
High
know
Park
you."
same time with you.
Oh, okay. Now your sister went to Hyde Park. You said
Yeah, she was in that program. That's whatever
the
that
magnet
program.
program.
Yes,
What year did she come out?
in '85.
So she was a year older than me. I came out in '80.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
but
that day of that election, I
mhm,
just happened to be driving down to by that school, and I saw all the news camera, and I tried to move over and park, but
mhm.
there was no parking on that street,
He's so
so I had to go on the
nosy. I love
side.
you.
I know, I'm just
Yes,
nosy.
he
He's
does.
so nosy. He's so
I'm just
nosy.
nosy. And then I started walking down the sidewalk. I looked. I said, "That's more. I'm not going to go down that way." But I saw when Tiffany and Kamal, they was in that parking lot, and they jumped
Uh-huh.
in, and they had so many Cook County sheriffs over there. I was like,
Yep.
"Who died over here?"
No, the Monica Gordon, she said ain't gonna be no hanky panky and dog.
Mm,
They was not gonna let Tiffany do nothing or intimidate nobody. So she made the Cook County clerk. She made sure we was okay and dog, and,
Wow.
mm.
and they was ready
Oh,
for
good.
Tiffany. Hmm.
Okay,
Good.
That's what
it
that
was a
was all
lot.
about. They wanted to
Okay.
make sure we was gonna be okay, and we wasn't gonna have no issues. With her, and she was out herself.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh,
That's good.
that's good.
Wasn't
Yeah.
playing with this tiff. But
Well,
again,
April
it's
1st should
almost
be
over.
very interesting to see. So, because I think her having time to marinate on everything and being the
Hmm.
sore loser that she is, and then of course Tommy G just came and slam dunked it with his
Yeah, we
video.
knew that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I expect her to start losing her mind a little bit. But I'm
I'm gonna
just,
tell you, he got a lot of footage, so he could do 2 or 3 videos. I'm shocked it
Oh,
was only 40 minutes because he was in there with us. He interviewed Valerie for like 30 minutes, actually.
Good.
I talked to him a lot. He was in there because we were there, of course, before everybody got there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got there, it was only a few people there. You know, so he got a lot, and then he was back and forth between her campaign office. Then he left somebody there, and then he came over back to us. He was there all night. He had been there all day. So we knew that he was coming to do that because he had interviewed her a few weeks before. And then what he wanted to do is he wanted to get the resident side.
Love it.
So he came back election that he was there like 3 weeks ago, and he spent the day with her.
Right.
And then everything that she said, he came to us, and then we gave him more information. Literally, a lot of that stuff came from us. Like, if you see the video of Kamal's party, it's a brief where they show that in this video. That's my video.
What?
At a party?
Kamal's party.
I missed the party.
That was that party.
He had a whole party where?
At
the car wash. If you see all those people outside, it flashes real fast.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, I need to see it. Watch that again. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I did see that.
And real quick, Sherry, who recommended Keith Freeman?
Chris Welch.
Yep.
Who is Chris Welch?
Say that, but I wasn't sure. I thought it was Chris Welch.
Yeah,
the Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House in Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois Speaker of the House.
He did. Him and okay, so allegedly his wife, who the Speaker of the House wife, Shanti Rainswell, she was also our legal counsel. So I see a donation to Tiffany campaign, and then next thing you know, Shanti is our legal counsel. She didn't stay very long because, well, in her letter, which I also have, which is public knowledge, that she's saying that Tiffany doesn't listen, this, that, and third, but allegedly Tiffany also had an inappropriate relationship with the Speaker of the House. I'm saying allegedly.
Dear Lord.
Oh, just drop the mic. Put my phone down now.
Now let me say this. Let me just say this.
Dear Lord.
And I'm not gonna say too much about Chris. I've known Chris since seventh grade.
I thought he was gay personally, but
Tiffany, I don't think that I don't see it.
You know what? That I heard it from two different sources. But again, that's why I'm saying allegedly, because I heard that he don't, But again, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm loving this conversation. Yeah. I'm loving this conversation so much. I'm about to look him up because I have no idea who he is.
Again, that's allegedly. But
I get you alleged.
That's what they are saying, but I don't know if that's the case. I think she left because the Tiffany don't pay attention. She don't listen to nobody. So I couldn't be her legal counsel either. But those are the things that were on the rumor mill. So
I met Shantae at our class reunion. That was my first time meeting her. She's nice. I mean, I never have an issue with her, but
Miss Solomon is trying to withdraw now, so I'm not shocked. One of the most incompetent attorneys I've ever heard of myself is trying to withdraw.
Latching on to her. Stay with her. Stick with her like a leash. Like a leash.
Oh no, they're not gonna let him because they got a motion out to get him sanctioned. I mean, he did all this nonsense. He going out trying to be a mouthpiece, and it's opposed to him having a spine and a backbone and remembering why he went to law school. He decides to let his client run all over him. So now there's a price to pay for that, and that level of incompetence can easily get you removed from the bar. I don't even know why his bar license is valid. I mean, my God.
Yeah, but he stays in trouble. He stays in trouble.
Yep.
And then what about Bo? Is he still around? Who is her attorney now? Is he still around? And what happened to Miss Lockett?
These are great questions.
To her? All
Locking
these
got moved by an injunction. So the court, when they did that TRO, to
right, but
keep
she
her
isn't
from
even
firing Freeman
She's
and
the
get rid of
African
Michael
American
Smith.
woman.
Yeah,
right.
she was one of the
Yeah,
ones that was listed in that injunction. Like, okay, no, she cannot represent, the
she
village as
couldn't
an attorney.
represent her as at the village, but she was representing her in other stuff, and then she fell
Yeah.
off.
Oh yeah,
I
I
haven't seen
mean,
her in a while.
anyone that's smart should not want to be near her, let alone represent
Right. That is
represent
true.
her in any capacity. Because first of all, you represent her in her personal capacity. How you get paid? You can't even get guaranteed payment, and then you shouldn't be representing her in her official capacity because now you're being paid with tax dollars that no one approved.
Right.
So no, they shouldn't even want to be within 50 feet of her. I mean,
And they didn't care. So you remember when they went to court
uh,
and the judge was all over them, and Burge went down there with her when he was trying to be the chief. Remember
uh,
when he told the judge asked him because he didn't have his certifications and stuff. And remember when the judge asked him, were you haven't been carrying a gun? And he said, no, sir. Remember he said, no, sir.
ooh,
Listen. I was
oh,
when they were taking down her those banners with
Those
her
banners.
face.
Yep.
yeah,
Listen, stop it. They was out there. Tiffany called the police. Bird showed up and he had what?
A gun on his
A
hip.
gun. I
wow,
listen, I FOIA'd that and I had it for like a month. And then when he went to
wow.
court, I called Regina. I said, listen, I'm getting ready to send you something to your email. She was like, oh my God, how long have you had that? I said, here you go.
Eh,
He lied. And then when he
wow.
found out that we put him on the spot. See, that's what I do. I do stuff behind the scenes. When
Oh
we
yeah.
we bust him out about that, when we was the one who gave that to the news. So hey. And then I listen. When they were
Man.
taking, they got all the way down by my house. Thank goodness they took because
Uh-huh.
I'm on the far west side of Dalton. In fact,
Right.
Okay.
I'm so far west. If you go a couple of blocks, you could be in Harvey or across the street of South Holland.
Okay.
So again, they had gotten all that stuff down, and then she called the police. Krigley had already been laid off. Michael Smith wasn't the village administrator, and he has that on his LinkedIn, by the way, that he
What?
was the village administrator. Yes, he
Mike Smith.
does.
Michael Smith. Really?
Dot.
Yeah. That's interesting.
He's so pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
Yep. So
God,
so
he's
what
just
it is
pathetic.
they just riding this gravy train till the gravy is dry. They're going, a lot of people are, but they're not supporting her publicly, and that's why I'm saying we're not going to have a problem getting rid of her because she's just going to go her and Kamal. The employees aren't afraid anymore.
Good.
She's just, and then I heard she said that she accepts the vote.
I haven't heard her
Well,
say it.
Yeah. I
It would be
haven't.
nice to hear her, like,
Was
put on her
well, Ben
big girl
Bradley
pants and
said
say
that.
something.
she said it to Ben Bradley.
Ben
She
Bradley
did
said
say
it.
it to him,
Yeah.
Right.
but
But
I'm
the
sure she
writing was
did.
on the wall with regards to her support when the numbers came out that night
Hmm.
of the election.
Right.
Nobody was at her. Even in bigger races, when someone loses, they still have, they're still there waiting for the
Right.
results to come in. Nobody was even there waiting for the results.
Yep.
I'm
I
like,
want to know how she did in her own precinct. That's what I want to know. I never got those numbers. I'm gonna ask somebody for those numbers tomorrow. Now that I'm thinking about it, I want to know how she did in her precinct.
wow.
Because
I
somebody
think a
said
lot of,
in one precinct she got 2 votes.
yeah, I'm about to
Don't
say a
Really?
believe
lot of
that.
people. I've come across a lot of comments where people have said, "Well, I knew her for when she was a trustee, never trusted her then." So I think most people who really really knew her and her style and
Hmm.
ethics and all of that, they're the
Hmm.
main ones that have said flat out, she is not to be
Hmm.
trusted.
But
She's
I'm gonna
not to
tell
be
you
Mm.
this.
trusted.
I'm gonna tell you this. When it comes to that, people didn't like the way she called Riley Rogers out. Now, we can say whatever we want to say, and she wasn't couth about it, but some of that stuff she was saying to him was real deal, and
Yeah.
it was the truth. She just didn't know how to talk to people. She doesn't know how to speak to people. I don't think that you should ever swell up at an adult. We are all adults. We can talk to each other like we have sense. She didn't know how to do that. And we used to tell her, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. So a lot of the things she was saying to him were correct. It was just her delivery was very unnecessary.
Right.
So
It
that's
was
what
too extra.
some of them were saying because she was not a criminal. She wasn't a criminal and she wasn't stealing from the village at that point. So again, people just didn't like her because they didn't like the ghetto. They didn't like the way she would speak to Riley Rogers. But again, she was asking some very legit questions. And I know she was because we would ask her to ask some of those questions, if I'm being honest. And I'm being honest.
Right.
But see,
So,
even and I'm not like it's nothing wrong with giving healthy challenge. It's nothing wrong with challenging
too
those,
much.
asking questions. But she was out of bounds. But even with the
Mm-hmm.
meeting where the her, I guess I don't even know what you call that whole thing where she was made supervisor. I reacted to
Mm-hmm.
that video and
Mm-hmm.
how that whole thing went down. The people that were there from Thornton Township
Mm-hmm.
that did attend the meeting, 90% of them were very upset at her
Yep.
becoming supervisor. And these are people that are in Thornton now. And they
Mm-hmm.
were even upset and was like, well, you all just took the people, which they did. They took the voice of the
Mm-hmm.
people away and you just put her in this position.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't
Yep.
have any say so. And most of them walked out infuriated. I mean, people were yelling, like,
Yeah.
no, like this is horrible. Like that it goes to show she was disliked on
Mm-hmm.
both levels between
And that's how
Dalton
it
and
popped off.
Thornton. So yeah.
And that's how it started in Dalton politics because
Yeah.
we were in Dalton politics and it wasn't as popular. But the night she won, the next day I went in and I made a post. I said, "You guys have just made the biggest mistake.
Oh yeah.
Now she's going to do to the township what she has done to Dalton."
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Tiffany had plans all along, and she had plans with whoever is protecting her. You know, Frank Zuccarelli wasn't well. I'm sure they had a plan for this to happen well before he passed on, honestly, because she was right there. And like she told Dr. Nikita, I'm getting ready to be the supervisor.
Jesus.
Told her that the day Frank died.
Wow.
Wow.
Never mind. It wasn't. She didn't even
Mhm.
make it about him. She's making it about her. So she's
Listen,
a narcissist. Oh God.
oh my God. And again, we did not know that because she needed her crown to be straightened up. That's what it seemed like. And, she was shaking her head and, going because people wouldn't, but I know people that voted for her because I told them or asked them to. I can't say told them to because we were really trying to change the narrative because we were going through it in Dalton before her.
Right.
And again, she played the part. Listen, we were trying to get her set up. Remember, I told you guys that her campaign manager, Marquis Son, we were
Mm-hmm.
trying to get her set up with a speech coach
Mm.
and everything. We tried to help her. Like I said, we had tea with the trustees online, and we had all these plans, and she would be on there with residents lying through her teeth, like she was
Oh
going
boy.
to do the right thing. And I'm telling you, we started seeing things, and Dorothy Brown helped her. Dorothy Brown made her feel like she was a little princess and could do whatever she wanted.
Did
Wow.
Dorothy
And
Brown
that's
write
and
her acceptance speech? Her what's called speech? Her
you know what?
inauguration speech?
I don't know that she did that for sure, but I would say that probably. And what people don't understand is when Dorothy Brown got that seat, she lied, and Tiffany said Dorothy Brown was only going to be a consultant. She said she's not going to be the village administrator. They kept on asking her, give us some people to look at, some resumes for the village administrator if Dorothy's not going to be the village administrator. Then, of course, she made her the village administrator. And I was, we were like, we don't want her in that role because we knew of all the things that she had going on in the city of Chicago. So I talked with Dane Placco. He's a local Fox News person.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Sherry, you don't need 1,000 people to have a protest. Get a couple dozen people and get out there. So I got a bullhorn. Well, I had somebody come with a bullhorn, and it was just a couple dozen of us. Dane Placco was there. Martin, Crime Chaser, was there filming, and the rabbi, he was there filming. And we were out there, and we were protesting, and this was in November. I think it was November 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. And she was gone the next month. She went on and resigned.
Wow.
So we weren't having it. So we have been fighting. When I tell you we've been fighting, I sent text message to everybody. I said, listen, I just need a couple dozen people with me because it's hard to get people out in Dalton. People started coming to the board meetings for the drama. I'm telling you, they did. Some people didn't care about what was going on. The only thing they cared about is she wasn't letting people in the building, so they were going to come and try to get in the building. That's it. Wow. That's all. We had a lot, and in the beginning, she had a lot of people. She would fill the boardroom, even if she had to have them come through the back door and fill up the seats.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's been a very stressful. So it just feels really good to be on the other side of it now. And I
feel
love
about
that
us YouTubers kicking in and pitching in and reporting and bringing light to this because I think I get a lot of I hear a lot of rumblings about all these outsiders looking at these YouTubers and that is so bad.
But you know what? I think a lot of people brought that on themselves. That was the way they would feel when we would correct them. A lot of people don't want to be corrected.
Right.
I don't mind being corrected at all if I'm wrong, and that's why I say I can always be corrected. And Jason will tell you what he would always say is no, they're not. We're looking at them like neighbors, and they're not outsiders. And it was a double-edged sword until people started saying, okay, nah, she is a nut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when people, for me personally, I think it was a good thing because I'm the one who started pushing for him. A lot of people started after I did, but I started pushing for YouTubers and reaching out to YouTubers 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. And I like good reporting. I think that there's a niche for everybody. I don't think everybody is going to report the same way. I like different platforms. Like I always say, I love you guys. I laugh. It's funny and it helps me get through it because sometimes you want to cry thinking about what we're going through. Pink Book Lesson, she doesn't do interviews. She just does her own straight reporting. That's that. Hannibal, I like his style. I was watching him one night. He was doing something on Tiffany, and I was in the comments. And then he said something, and I politely corrected him. And it wasn't like a big thing. It was just that he had it wrong. And so I said, well, no, it's like this. And then we started interacting, and he made the point that a lot of people jump on Dalton residents, and they call us stupid, and they talk about us and say, we get what we deserve because we voted for her. Well, we didn't think that it was going to be this bad. And when we saw what she was doing, we tried to correct it.
Exactly.
We didn't go into
set
this
out with this, right?
Yeah, we didn't want to see her fail. You know what? I would rather be celebrating her doing great than going through this.
Right.
Tiffany, she's young, but she's not young. People say she's young. She'll be 42 in June.
Right.
So she's not a child either. So and to answer your question, I think that we wouldn't be this far had we not had the YouTubers. I don't look at them as outsiders. But again, I like some people do research and some people don't. Because if they do if people do the research, they would know that we have done it all. it's not rocket science. We know what she's doing. We know what we need to do. We had good, decent government. We weren't in this big deficit like Cassandra said. Yeah, we needed to change mayors, but it wasn't because he had stole all the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, I think that they're calling themselves outsiders at this point because Jason has made it clear 3 times now. He said it twice in meetings, and he said it at his at the
acceptance speech.
Acceptance speech. You know, we all the you know, we couldn't have done this without the YouTubers, without people that are in the comments on social media. They do research. They have stepped in and did FOIAs. They have wrote letters to the ARDC when the attorneys are acting crazy. They have reached out to the AG's office. I mean, you have people like, I just saw Judge Petty. She has done basically free advertising for the campaign. I mean, if you call her as far as research, she is on it. All in the queue. I mean, with the research is just unmatched. They are great. They are really great. So, and everybody is and everybody, you know, does things differently. Like, I get people, you know, I think it was a lot of like fighting amongst the YouTubers and stuff. It's enough room for everybody with this Tiffany stuff because she's the gift that keeps on giving. So people don't have to be angry about that. Let's just all come together and report it however we want to.
Yeah. Let me jump in that. Let me jump on that real quick, Sherry, because I think something that we need to make sure we put in context because you all are genuinely attempting to do the right thing. Sure, some of you all are busting a U-turn because you were going in one direction, or some of you all were moving a little bit slower, but now you're caught up with the rest of the herd. I think that's what's actually attracted so many people to your cause and to your case. Because, I mean, show of hands, how many of y'all knew where Dalton was before this happened? And I'm from Illinois.
Heard of it.
And I'm from Illinois, and I didn't know about it before this, right? So, but I think it's because of the genuine nature of you all wanting to do the right thing, and watching people say like, "Hey, I messed up. I shouldn't have been a part of this. I thought it was going to go one way, and I was wrong. And now I'm trying to." And you see that they're actually making attempts to fight against. It's not just lip service, but they're actually taking people off bank accounts and suing people and doing this, that, and the third. So you see like, okay, yeah. And I think that's what drew people in to want to support your story, not just wanting to dunk on Tiffany, but also wanting to see you all prosper and succeed in this and want to see what the story is going to end. So, I mean, I think we're almost toward the end, but it could be like a Marvel movie where they got like 3 post-credit scenes. So we don't know how many. It could be like 3 post-credit scenes in this joint. But I think that's what's drawn so many people to your side to help you out, wanting to help you, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
But you are so right. It's so true. And it's you can become emotional with that. And I'm not an emotional person. I will say that it absolutely does help us. And I have had someone come to me who was with her, and they said, you know, it feels good to be on the right side of this. And she said, I'm just glad that I'm going to be on the right side of history when this is over.
Well, let me say this. My cousin lives in Dalton, and Sherry, you probably have seen her because she's at all of the Dalton meetings, and she goes to tea with the trustees. But she had told me a long time ago about Tiffany, and I'm one of those people where I hear you, but maybe until it affects me personally, I'm not really invested in what you're saying. So I knew about Tiffany's shenanigans, and then when she became the supervisor, because I'm in the township, when she became the supervisor, I started not paying as much attention, but it didn't really hit me until last year. I want to say maybe March, April. I was at my cousin's house in Dalton, and she showed me a video of this guy named Antoine in Detroit.
Anton. Anton. Please
Anton.
don't. Make sure you say Anton.
Anton. And he was interviewing Nikita. And I was like, I know Nikita. And she was like, you know her? I was like, yeah, I used to be in the same office with Nikita. And so I'm watching the video and I was like, wait, this is what's going on in Dalton? And she was like, yeah, I've been telling you. I was like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm in the township. So yeah, YouTube has done a lot with opening the eyes of even those who live here.
Right. And Anton has flipped the script. He, at first he was with Tiffany. I mean, first he wasn't with Tiffany, and he was like, "Oh, she's a trip." And then I don't know if it's for ratings or whatever, and he started talking crazy about us, talking about Trustee Belcher's appearance.
Let me tell you
talking
when it
about
happened.
Jason, and he snapped.
When it changed is when the trustees got Lightfoot. As soon as they did that, that's when he flipped.
So,
that's when he flipped.
Can I say this about Lori Lightfoot for people who just really hate her? Let me just say this. We did not hire her to be the mayor of Dalton. We hired her because of her FBI experience and connection. And they said that they were going to have investigations. So why not have our own investigation? She got a lot of doors open that we couldn't get open. It was $30,000. Tiffany has spent millions of dollars. And they kept talking about the $400 an hour. We all know that. But listen to this: Delgado charges almost $800 an hour. So I mean, come on. And I mean, she did the reports, and it just needed to be put down. I mean, some of the stuff we knew, some we didn't, but just hearing it from her talking to state officials and law enforcement, giving that information to the people that need to have it, the residents. They talked about it at tea with the trustees before it happened. And then they brought it to the board meeting because some residents wanted it to be, talked about at a board meeting. And as a whole, the residents decided, yeah, we wanted her. Now, everybody was beating us up about that. Lori Lightfoot, it was worth what we spent, in my opinion, as a person who has been boots on the ground. And I never want to, push that much. But I was glad when I was doing this by myself. I started off, it was people doing things, but when I brought it to social media, it was myself, Dan Lee, Mr. Dan Lee. I got him to help me with writing letters and stuff. Thelma Price, I enlisted her. I got a group text. I reached out for Stephanie Wiedemann. I reached out for Nikita. I reached out for John Kraft. Jim Giglio, rest in peace. He was a former trustee of the township. But I reached out to him because I used to see him. He used to go in on Tiffany on Facebook, and he didn't care because I was like, he's an older white man, and I was like, he don't care. He's not worried about what people are saying. So we had a group chat. Listen, when she hid those vehicles, remember when she hid the vehicles, the Tahoes that she had them, she tried to hide them because she had them outfitted like police cars, and that's illegal. So she thought that they were going to take the actual vehicles because some investigators from the Secretary of State came down from Springfield. They came to take the plates off the car. So she hid the vehicles. So I had been reaching out to Edgar County Watchdogs, and he hadn't got back to me. And people kept saying, don't worry, he'll get back to you. It's only 2 of them. Don't get discouraged. So I was emailing and calling. And then my phone rung at like 6:45 in the morning, and it was a 217 number. I was like, oh, my God, who is this? This early in the morning. It was, and I answered the phone, and he's got a real southern draw. He was like, well, hello there. I said, oh, my God. He said, I got some information for you. He go, I know where she's hid the vehicles. And I was like, what? So he told me where the vehicles were. I jumped up, threw on some jogging pants, and got in the car, and I driving and I'm on my way there and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I called Valerie Stubbs. I said, listen, I got a call from Edgar County Watchdogs, John Kraft, and he told me where the vehicles are. She said, I'm meeting you. She said, where you at? So we went over there and we took video of the car. She had them hidden in the South Holland Community Center, senior center building. Mm-hmm. So we took video
she took them
and
to
everything.
The car wash.
Listen, yeah, that's what she could have put them. No, that was too easy because Chief Collins was telling her to bring him the plates. He was pissed off at her, but she, eventually she did. But so we got the video, and that's how the news got the video, because we gave it to John Kraft and we sent it to the news. Me and Valerie, we were up at 7:00 in the morning, creeping, trying to get video.
Let me have some investigative work I need done. I'm calling you, Sherry.
Okay. Listen. We got 2-3 more mayors here down in Atlanta. We got to go ahead and get rid of right quick.
Listen, I had somebody call me and ask me to run her campaign. I said, I don't do that.
You would be awesome at that.
I don't do that. And awesome. I ain't running for office. No.
You know what? You got to know your ministry.
You make a private investigator.
Listen, I ain't doing that either. I'm finna relax and eat bonbons.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
Okay,
don't do it.
Peggy, buddy.
Well, yeah, I don't need to do that because I need to. As we get older, it's a little harder to get this weight off. So yeah, maybe I won't eat bonbons, but I want to do what I want to do, whatever that is.
Just do one bond. Don't do the bonbon.
Right, there you go.
Do one bond.
Do a bond.
A bond.
Right. Listen, I'm like, yeah. Listen, y'all. Okay, I know I can't do that. My husband can eat whatever he want to eat, and don't gain a pound.
Don't they make you mad?
He eat and I gain the weight.
You can sniff it and gain weight.
Listen,
oh man.
Well, ladies, I want to. Speaking of creeping around at 7:00 in the morning, I need.
Oh, you gotta get some sleep, bro.
It's past my bedtime, y'all.
I haven't gone to sleep since Tuesday. Since Monday.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
I couldn't give me sleep last night.
Okay. Well, you get you some sleep. Right. I have to get up in the morning for work. Whatever time I'm getting up is what I'm getting up.
Absolutely.
Right.
So this has been fantastic. Thank you, Sherry, for all your tidbits of
Thank you, Sherry.
Anytime, you guys.
Honey.
I've been trying to get with you guys. It was maybe 2 months ago. You had asked me, and then I had issues with my dad. My dad ended up having a long back surgery, and he had recovery and all this. So I just hadn't been able to get on here. But I try to pay attention. You guys are one of the ones that I like to look at. So.
Thank you. Sherry, grab my email. You're welcome to email me whenever. And if you ever want to just come on and talk and whatever like that, you're welcome. Just
it's
grab
in the
my
comments,
email.
right? Okay.
I just put it on the screen.
I'll send mine as
it's
well.
On the screen
I would love to have you on. I really would.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell Dr. Nikita I'm waiting for her to reply back to my
I'll talk
Dr.
to her
Nikita
every morning, so I will let her know.
When you talk to her in the morning, Jason said, did you confirm what it was that y'all was talking about?
Okay, I will do that.
And you know what I'm talking about. But thank you so much, Sherry. That was great to have you come on. Thank you for shedding light and
information.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. Let me spoil it. Election night, where's Team House having their celebration party at?
You know what? I don't think they're having a celebration. I think they'll probably do the same thing, be at the campaign office. And then they're going to probably do something that's going to be economically safe, maybe down the line. And we will definitely let you guys know, because I think everybody should come join us.
I think everybody should come and join you. What about that? I think that'd be a great idea.
I have a fundraiser for a flight.
Absolutely. Get it cracking, y'all, and we can block off some rooms in Alston and in Lansing and Homewood. That's where we'll block off all the hotels, and we can party.
I love it.
All right.
Well, you hear from you soon. Looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sherry Britton. Appreciate you, love.
Right. No
All right
problem.
now.
Talk to you guys
Ha-
again soon, hopefully.
You got most
All right,
certainly, most
sis.
Sounds
certainly.
good.
All righty.
All right, take care,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
I'm gonna say
All
good
right.
night.
Good night,
Bye.
y'all.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
All right. Well, that was fun, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We had Sherry Britton, of course. No Apologies, Just Me, Late Lady Luck Club, and as well as Chicago Red. We went over the Tommy G initial interview or documentary they did over about Tiffany Henry, and then we just chewed it fat and talked about some great things. So thank you, Sherry, for being such a great surprise guest. I didn't expect that, and that was a lot of fun, though, for real. But everybody, appreciate y'all tapping in with us tonight. It's been a long night, but I appreciate y'all nonetheless hanging out with us. If you don't mind, if you didn't already, hit the like button on your way out the door. Make sure you tip your waitress, all that kind of good stuff. And everybody, I'm looking forward to doing this with y'all again real soon. So until next time, everyone. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Help me hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. So before Tiffany Henry loses her mayoralship, I want to hit 50,000 subscribers. So help your boy out. So everybody, until next time, grace and peace. Take care.